Before we begin, let me introduce some members of town government that act as advisors to this board. To my left is Paul Hennings, counsel to the board. To his left is Blaise Donadio, a planner in the planning department. Now tell me why, I'll let you know why we're here tonight. New York State statute requires that any town that adopts zoning must also have a Board of Appeals to act as a relief valve so that those persons aggrieved by strict application of a zoning ordinance can seek relief without the expense of going to court. Town board can give Board of Appeals additional powers, such as special exception approvals, site plan approvals. In Smithtown, the town board has given this board authority regarding certificate of existing use and some special exception uses. The most common kind of application before the board are area variances. Area variances deal with dimensions, such as lot area, frontage, height, setbacks, and parking spaces. New York State statute mandates that the board must consider the following 5 criteria in area variances. When you come to the podium to present your application, you need to address these 5 areas. They're posted here for you. Number 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created. Number 2, whether the applicant has other feasible alternatives. Number 3, whether the variance is substantial. Number 4, whether an adverse impact on the environment will be created. And number 5, whether the alleged difficulty is self-created. The statute requires the board to balance the interest of the applicant and those of the neighborhood or community. This statute further requires that the board shall grant the minimum variance shall deem necessary and adequate, and at the same time preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. The board has the power to impose reasonable conditions. Special exception applications are different than area variance. We have a special application before us. I will explain the difference. When your case is called, please come forward, submit your affidavits and mailing receipts to Mr. Donadio, and then you will be sworn in at the podium. You'll be given the opportunity to explain to the board why you need the variance. After the applicant is done speaking, all interested parties will be given one opportunity and only one opportunity to be heard. So please organize your thoughts, keep your remarks factual that are related to the case. Then I will ask the applicant to come back to the podium to answer your concerns. The board will then close the case and reserve decision. After all the hearings are closed, the board will review the cases and decide some of them. Others will be reviewed at a later date. There are 3 ways to find out the results of the case. Number 1, you can wait until after the public hearing, but there's no guarantee that the board will act on your case tonight. Number 2, you can call the planning department tomorrow afternoon. Number 3, applicants can wait and be notified by mail. I do have one adjournment for tonight. Case 17161, Sean and Anne Marie Hickey. Anyone here for that case? Okay. That has been adjourned to July 22nd. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first item on the agenda, number 17157, Brixmore Property Group, 420 Lexington Avenue, New York, New York. The location of the property is on the west side of Indian Head Road, 228 feet north of Hudson Drive in Kings Park. The property is zoned SCB. The applicant requests a variance to permit accessory structure height from 0 to 35 feet for 5 existing poles to increase the square footage of a ground sign from 32 square feet to 87 square feet.
Madam Chair, I'm going to recuse myself on this application.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair,
Good
members of the
evening.
board. Anthony Guardino, partner with the law firm of Farrell Fritz in Hauppauge, New York. Madam Chair, I am respectfully requesting that this application or this hearing be adjourned. We learned late this afternoon, like very late this afternoon, that there is a discrepancy in the plans that we submitted, and the pole heights that are there actually exceed the 35 feet. So the drawings are not accurate. So I would not want this board to grant a variance based on circumstances or information that is not accurate. So I would like the opportunity to adjourn this case so that we could revise the plans for the lighting. The sign plans are fine, but I think we should just take it all together, and then we would renotice the hearing, with the proper information in it, and then we would come back. I do understand, or I'm hearing that there are some people in the audience. I am happy to stay after the adjournment to talk to them. I did receive a call from one person. I tried to call him. I didn't get a call back, but I'm happy to talk to him tonight, and maybe we can talk about the situation, and maybe we can mitigate some of their concerns before we even come back.
Okay.
I'm happy to do
Let me just
that.
say, why don't you go to the library in the back there, and then the neighbors can maybe meet with you back
Fine.
there?
That's fine.
All right?
Okay. Thank
All
you
right.
very much. I
All right,
appreciate it.
I'm going to
Okay.
give you, I cannot give you the next meeting,
Okay.
because I have a tremendous amount of cases, but I can give you July 22nd.
That's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I
You're
appreciate
very
it.
welcome.
Thank
Thank you so
Okay.
much. What are you, old man shopping center? Oh, I don't think you had to recuse yourself.
Madam Chair, the next case on the agenda, number 17158, William Perdue, 11 East Hill Drive, Smithtown. The location of the property, the north side of East Hill Drive, 205 feet east of Hofstra Drive. The property is zoned R10. The applicant requests a variance to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 40 to 34 feet for an existing 165 square foot deck.
Did you bring everything in, all your affidavits and everything?
We're missing the certified mailing stubs. And
Did you send them with receipt return?
we're missing a list on the back of the recipients.
That he could fill out later.
Right.
But the white ones you have at home?
Yes.
You can take that as representation, but you gotta get them to the board
Okay.
as soon as possible.
I can bring them back this evening.
Oh, that's great.
I live close enough.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that would work.
Okay.
I think that would
Okay?
work.
All right.
And then have them fill out the back
All
of
right.
that?
Yes.
Okay.
I do apologize for my error. This is all kind of new to
That's
me.
quite all right. No problem. May I have your name, please?
Yes. William P. Perdue, P-E-R-D-U-E,
And your address, William?
11 East Hill Drive, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Okay. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You want to tell us why you're here?
Yes. My wife and I purchased the house in 2009. It was a foreclosure. There was an existing front deck on the house at that time when we bought it. We're not aware of it missing any COs or any paperwork. All we did recently was, since the top boards were a little worn and some of them were rotten, we recovered the deck with Trex decking. And we had an inspection, and turns out that the deck is a little bit, makes the setback from 40 feet to 34 feet.
Okay. Planning?
No comments.
Gentlemen?
No question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Hearing none, I'll entertain the motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Really moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Madam Chair, the next case, number 17159, Spontino St. James LLC, 687 Old Country Road, Dix Hills. The location of the property, 420 North Country Road in St. James, the east side of North Country Road, 284 feet south of Clinton Avenue. The property is Zone CB. The applicant requests a variance to increase the maximum area of a ground sign from 32 square feet to 44 square feet, to increase the maximum height of a wall sign from 15 to 18 feet, increase the maximum height of a second wall sign from 15 to 17 feet, increase the number of wall signs from 1 to 2, permit a wall sign not to face a public street.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. I've submitted the affidavits of posting and mailing to Blaze Donadio. You have before you a survey of this odd-shaped piece of property. And as you can see, I don't know, I guess that's the hypotenuse of the triangle, which faces the longest distance, North Country Road, and the building was placed in such a manner that we are requesting 2 wall signs. And the reason being, the one that faces North Country Road is kind of an angle to the southwest, and the other one would also face, technically, it doesn't face the street, it faces the parking lot, but it also faces North Country Road if you were driving up North Country Road from the, I guess it's the east to the west. I think you'll all recall that this building was built probably 7 or 8, maybe 9 years ago, and it was Bella Cucina. At least that's what Blaze and I think. I'm pretty sure. Bella Cucina,
Yep.
right. And you pretty much gave the same variances to that applicant at that time. The purpose, as you can see, if you look at the pictures, there is no other place to place the wall sign other than above those arch windows. So that's why we need the height variance with respect to the wall signs. We're very happy, and I think the town is glad that Spontino purchased this property. They're not just tenants, they own the property, and they want to put the second restaurant on North Country Road, and hopefully they'll be as successful as their other restaurant, which is west in, I believe, Huntington? Dix Hills, Huntington, and that's been very successful. The other thing is, in case you're all wondering what Spontino means, so did I, and it means snacks.
Okay.
And I couldn't even find it in my little Italian dictionary. But anyway, we asked the board for its favorable consideration. Thankfully, they've taken the chance and purchased this building and put a lot of money into it so that it wouldn't remain vacant as it was for the last 7 or 8 years. We don't think it would be a change in the character of the area. We don't feel that it has any environmental effect. We're talking about signs. The signs, as you can see in the pictures, are well done. Whether the application or the signs were created, self-created hardship, no. We haven't put them up yet. We sure like to. I think we're pretty close to opening now. I pass it every day, and they seem to be working very hard at trying to get it done, and hopefully will be open sometime in July. So we ask the board for its favorable consideration. I have one of the owners here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Planning, anything?
No comments?
Gentlemen? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
It was greatly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Madam Chair, the next case, number 17160, Nelson Feliciano, 8 Lorinda Drive, Comac. The location of the property, the northwest corner of Retta Drive and Lorinda Drive. The property is zoned R10. The applicant requests a variance to reduce the total distance from edge of road pavement on Retta Lane from 26 feet to 12 feet for a proposed 6-foot fence.
What happened?
We don't have the affidavit of posting. We might have one in the box. And I don't have my damn stamp again. Penny's here.
What?
Do you want to see if we have one in the box, or?
Is there anything, oh, yeah, all right. I was there yesterday, so I know it was posted. All right, so you want to just, get an affidavit? Yes. Do we have any affidavits in the box, please? Affidavit of posting.
One or two.
One. Okay. I'll let him fill this out, and then needs to be notarized. If you see that gentleman sitting right back there, Mr. Tramarko, I'm sure he will notarize it for you. I figured. All right. Why don't we hear the case? Come up and let me hear the case, and then we'll have you. Does she know how to do it? Okay. Let me have your name, please,
Nelson Feliciano.
and your address.
It's 8 Lorinda Drive in Comac, New York.
Okay. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
A little nervous, Madam
Don't worry
Chairperson,
about
thank you, and board members, thank you. I'm here to reduce the minimum distance from the maintenance installation of a private fence from a public curb. An existing fence prior to the home purchase was already at said reduced distance from curb. House had a fence existing location prior to sale. No complaints or problems were generated during that time period. It's substantial because increasing the distance between the curb and home will reduce the total yardage of home and could cause a reduced value of estate. It cannot be achieved due to limited area of the real estate in existence and would not cause an adverse effect to the environment due to the fact that said fence had existed at the same location in question for decades prior to purchase, and no issues had ever been presented that would merit an adverse effect. Was not created because prior to proposed maintenance, no issues were brought up due to the location of the fence that was already in place.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, let me just tell you this. Even though no one complained and you didn't, it was already there, it was still your responsibility to get, a permit and everything to put up this fence. It was a chain link fence, and now you're going to a PVC fence.
That's correct.
All right. I'm going to tell you that I don't know how the board feels, but this is a little substantial. So they may ask, the board may decide that you need to push it back a little bit.
Okay.
But we'll make that decision later on, all right? We also have to look at it, that if the fence wasn't there, would we approve this? So I know it's just a chain link now. Is that chain link was only 4 feet, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so,
Yeah,
yes.
so that's why you didn't need
A
any
variance.
permits or anything for a 4-foot fence.
Okay.
All right, and we'll let you know the decision, too.
Thank you very
All right, wait
much.
1 second. Planning?
Madam Chair, notwithstanding the distance setback from the curb, we really don't object to the fence being on Retta Place, setback within the front yard, because it's not causing any kind of a visual impact on the corner. There won't be any issues with people making left or right-hand turns, so whatever the board decides regarding setback, but we think the fence would be fine.
Okay, gentlemen, anything? Okay, we'll let you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening.
Evening. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
Regularly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
So, Sean Hickey is adjourned. Okay. Madam Chair, the next case, number 17162, Mai Chin Lee, 51 Hastings Drive, Fort Salonga. The location of the property, the south side of Hastings Drive, 570 feet west of Williamsburg Drive. The property is zoned R43. The applicant requests a variance to reduce the minimum setback of an existing retaining wall to the front property line from 3 feet to 2 feet, increase the maximum height of a retaining wall from 4 feet to 6 feet in the front yard, permit structures within 10 feet of any slope higher than 5 feet and having a slope greater than 15%, permit environmentally sensitive lands to be altered for retaining walls.
I went to look at this one, too. I went to look at this one, too. It's fine. There's nothing, has no problems at all. Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. My name is Michael Morbill. I'm architect for the applicant. My office is located at 1650 Sycamore Avenue, Bohemia, New York. And I've submitted power of attorney for
Okay,
him.
that's what I
Thank
was
you.
just going to ask you. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
The application before you this evening is for a modular cement block retaining wall, which had replaced an original wood retaining wall that was constructed with the home at the time, going back to the 70s. And about 10 years ago, the applicant had replaced that wall with the modular block wall. The applicant presently has her home for sale and is looking to obtain a certificate of compliance on the wall. The wall does not encroach any further than it was originally constructed, although at the time of its original constructed, a permit was now requested for the retaining wall. The property in the area is quite hilly, if you're familiar with the neighborhood.
Yes,
There's
we were there.
substantial topography and rolling hills. So retaining walls are not uncommon. The requests that we have before the board are not substantial. The setback distances are in keeping with other retaining walls in the area, and we have a request for environmentally sensitive lands due to the existing topography. So these are not conditions that the applicant created, and certainly due to the fact that they were replacing an existing wood retaining wall. That's clear that was built with the house due to the topography and the location of the driveway. We're asking for this board's favorable consideration. And if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them at this time.
Fine. Planning?
Madam Chair, we did go out and do a site inspection of the property, and as you are aware, the area of the wall that is 6 feet in height, I believe is approximately 5 feet in length, and it's attached to the foundation of the home. So certainly we don't think that the height of the wall is an issue in the front yard. The fact that, as Mr. Morbillo said, that when the home was originally constructed, there was a retaining wall in place because of the grade of the property to hold everything back, and the fact that they've replaced it with the brick, certainly in our opinion, there's no issue as far as setback or height.
Gentlemen, any questions? No questions. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
It's regularly moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Where is Mr. Nazaro?
Madam Chair, the next case, number 17163, the estate of Catherine Simon and William Simon, 36 Hillside Avenue, St. James, the location of the property, the south side of Woodlawn Avenue, 400 feet east of Cambon Avenue. The property is zoned R21. The applicant requests a variance to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 16 to 10 feet. It is 9 feet existing, and total side yards from 34 to 24 feet for an existing 258 square foot attached garage addition.
May I have your name, please?
William Simon.
Yeah, why don't you take the mic out so they can hear you? Just take it out, it's fine.
William Simon.
And your address, William?
My address is 36 Hillside Avenue, St. James.
Okay, raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Want to tell us why you're here, please?
Yeah, I need to, my mother passed away a couple of months ago, and my sister and I are getting ready to sell the house, you know, her house, and we came across the survey and realized that the new garage that was replaced 15 years ago or so was not accurate on the survey there, and we need to make it legal. And since the garage was replaced, and it originally, I guess, required a variance, so since it was replaced, although the side yard setback has not changed, it just needs to be legalized. And it wouldn't affect anybody because it's an existing structure that's been there. There's no plumbing in it or anything. It's just a garage, and that's it.
Thank you so much. Planning?
No comments?
Gentlemen? Thank you so much. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on this application? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second.
Really moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Madam Chair, the next case, number 17148, J. Nazaro Partnership, LP, also known as 711, 8 Saxon Avenue, Suite C, Bay Shore, New York. The location of the property is 512 Gibbs Pond Road, the northwest corner of Smithtown Boulevard and Gibbs Pond Road. The property is zoned NB. The applicant requests a variance to increase the number of wall signs from 1 to 2.
Good evening. May I have your name, please?
James Nazaro, 8 Saxon Avenue, Bay Shore, New York.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
As per the suggestion of, one of the suggestions of the board at the last meeting, I contacted
Use the cut.
I'm sorry?
Use the mic as much as you can.
Sure. I contacted the tenant, 7-Eleven, and they were in agreement as per suggestion to install a non-backlit illuminated sign as a second sign on the south side of the building.
Okay, so there'll be no illumination.
No backlit illumination, no.
Okay.
And for the record, Madam Chairwoman, it was, some neighbors had showed up at the last hearing commenting on possibly seeing the light from the sign, though that won't exist any longer. I took a measurement through Google Maps, and the signage would be approximately 225 feet to the nearest residence to the south, and there was approximately 120 feet of wooded area from that residence to Smithtown Boulevard, just for the record.
And what sign is it?
I'm sorry?
Is this the same sign that you showed us the other day?
Yes.
Last time?
The, may I see that closer?
Is this the sign you're putting in? Or have you changed?
No, that's the sign, yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Planning, anything? Gentlemen? Okay. Thank you. Any questions, sir? Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I believe there are neighbors here. So if you'd like to be heard, could you line up, please? May I have your name, please?
Yes, my name is Fred Gorman, Gorman. I live at 96 Empress Pines Drive, Wisconsin, New York.
All right, raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. This street, first thing I want to be sure there's also not going to be a front light to that sign. Because anytime you have a red and green lit sign or a sign that has red and green in it that is in a direct path of a light for a long period of time, I think it creates a dangerous condition, especially since you're going to have half of a view of another sign which is lit and that sign. This road for about a half a mile travels straight right to the middle of that property. I've sent you all pictures. You all have the maps. So if you're driving straight, all of a sudden, in less than 40 feet, you make a turn, and there's a red light staring you right in the face, and you better jam on your brakes. And most people traveling through that road do not observe the speed limits. So I think it creates a very dangerous condition. I have no problem with 7-Eleven doing anything that is within its right and it's proper. I also have a problem with the left turn. I've spoken to Mr. Crowley, and Mitch Crowley is also looking into it. They've investigated it. I don't know that they're going to be allowed to make a left turn into that property. It's very, very dangerous. So if they can't make a left turn, they don't really need that sign. So I'm asking, and what I've originally asked in my letter, and I'm going to ask you again, is to please have someone drive down Roseville, looking directly at that property, looking directly at that light, and understand what I'm talking about, because especially at night, when you have a light blindness kind of situation going on, or in inclement weather, when you have a vehicle traveling, let's say at 40, 50 miles an hour, all of a sudden you come to a road that's 2 lanes, it goes into 3 lanes, 1 left, 1 right, 1 center, so you got to get into the right lane, and then you turn very quickly, and there's a red light staring you right in the face. I think it's an accident waiting to happen, and my issue here is purely safety. Now, I have a great deal of respect for the traffic department. I have a great deal of respect for planning. All I'm asking is that someone actually take a look and make sure it's safe to put that sign. I'm delighted to hear that it's not going to be lit from the back, but I also like to hear it's not going to be lit from the front, because it's going to create the same kind of condition. And as I said, the only way you're really going to appreciate what I'm talking about is if you drive down that road and you see the lights, and then you see where that building is going to be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Planning anything? No. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved. Second?
Regularly moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. That concludes our hearings for tonight. Thank you so much.